Hello and welcome to another edition of Ask Ben W, the video series where I get to tackle exactly one question as I walk from my parked car to my office in Denver Public Schools. Today's question goes something like this. How can I be a better advocate for Educolor? And this is courtesy of some things that I've been reading and experiencing, both on Twitter and sort of in newsletters and blogs and things like that. But Educolor is a wonderful hashtag that has been really advocating heavily for more people of color to be involved in education technology, and not just involved in it, but in leadership roles and in speaking the truth about equity through technology and the ways in which we might have more diverse representation at conferences and in many of the places that are just incredibly white and incredibly I think paternalistic, and just the way in which districts are run, and how is it that we can support a more equitable outcomes and really not just having a single voice or a small set of voices who are making the policy and programs within our school districts. And it is something that I haven't engaged in a lot personally, but it really made me think that, but the more that I have been reading about it, the more that I have been looking deeply into all of the inner workings of the Educolor movement, it's something that I would like to start investing more in. And one thing this weekend happened that made me think, there is a right way to invest in the movement, and there is a wrong way to invest in it. And it was punctuated by a moment, I think on Sunday, where Melinda D. Anderson, I believe is her name, she tweeted out a picture of a provocative movie poster and said that it would be a great opportunity for a Socratic seminar in a classroom. And almost immediately, a fellow educator who was a white man responded, "No, I don't think that's a good idea." And she reacted pretty negatively to that comment, essentially saying, I didn't ask for your opinion. I don't need to hear your thoughts. Stop trying to silence me and my voice. And there was some back and forth, and I would definitely say it got maybe a little more heated than what the initial set of comments probably sort of set up or teed up. But the thing that was most important about that interaction for me was essentially like one side, if we were choosing sides, was like pleading for civility and like a particular vision of what Twitter was about and what conversations on social platforms should be. And the other side was saying, my voice is my voice. I get to choose the way in which I interact. I get to choose the ways in which I share my thinking, and no one else should be able to change that or silence that or make it so that my voice is heard only in a certain way, only in the most proper of ways, and that Twitter can only be for one type of conversation and not the type of conversations that she was interested in, and that I think to a very large extent the Educolor movement is interested in. My understanding of the movement has a lot to do with just owning your own voice as a educator of color, and for allies to support that voice and that ownership of voice. And I consider myself an ally of Educolor, but I have not invested in it. And there was a post by Rafrans Davis, who was sort of talking about the ways in which, if you aren't doing the work of social justice, you don't get to co-opt the conversation. And so one of the things that I would like to sort of put a stake in the ground on is that I am and would like to continue to do the work of social justice in my own environment, within Denver Public Schools, within Aurora Public Schools, within the metro area. And to me, that's a very important component, but it doesn't mean that my voice is the one that needs to be heard speaking about equity. It doesn't necessarily mean that the way in which I am thinking about it is the right way to think about it. Rather, I think we have to respect and to honor the diversity of the way in which we all can talk about equity, and the way in which we can support those who are claiming their own voice that is different, that is specifically not civil, that is a lot more abrasive than I think what a lot of folks stay at on Twitter and in other social places, where it is essentially just very surface level and never digs into the real root problems of patriarchy, or of whether it's gender bias or his racial bias. Like, these kinds of things, we have to be allowing one another to show up authentically, and to not silence the voice of one another. And so for me, that was a really important moment, and it's something that I would like to continue to commit myself to and to invest in, is being an advocate for Educolor as a movement, and for people of color in ed tech. Not that I have to do any of the empowering, or that I have something that I have to add, but rather that I can be witness to voices, and I can amplify voices, and I can ask to be a part of the conversation, but not to take over the conversation, not to say that my opinion about the way the conversation should happen matters more than others, especially those who have been doing the deep work of social justice every single day, and writing about it, and blogging about it, and tweeting about it, and they're doing it every day. And so being a witness to that, amplifying that, and engaging where I can, where it is authentic for me to do so, without silencing the voice of others. So it's my thought. If you have thoughts about how you can be an advocate for Educolor, I would love to hear them. If you want to leave a comment down below, or if you'd like to ask a question, please do so with the hashtag AskBenW, and I would love to answer it another time. Have a great day of learning.